What's up, my people? What are you doing? What are you doing? It's early in the morning. It's nice and brisk out. The leaves are falling. Look. Pretty cool, huh? So, we're just taking a walk over here to this little trail. And I love this time of year. It's beautiful. The leaves are falling off the trees. Look, the leaves. Oh man, see all that trash? That's messed up. But yeah. So all the leaves are falling. All the leaves are falling. And the sky is gray. And the sky is gray. I just go. Yeah, whatever that song is. But yeah, this time of year is Bitchen. You can hear the birds right now. They're really cool. And this is when I feel really, really close to God. You know? I'm just gonna do a little something different this time. Let you, I don't know. We'll take a little walk together and see what happens. See what we see. I'll show you the things that I like to look at when I'm out and about in the countryside. I don't like to see the countryside when I can see streets or hear cars. If I can hear cars and all that stuff, I'm too close to the city. Oh look. See the deer? Look. See them? No. Oh, there they are. Yeah. Awesome. There they go. I hope I got that. There's also wild pig out here. They go running around. Wild boar, basically, wild pig. They're like a whole pack of maniacs, you know? But they're cool. It's too cold for snakes right now. But this is what I look for when I come out. I'm like kind of a sculpture kind of guy. So I'm always looking for cool stumps and things that I can make into sculptures. And I like to find stumps that look like close to things, and then I bring them, I make them, I help to, make them more visible. I just bring what God already, started. I may just bring it out, make it into what it's supposed to be. Oh, look at this place. Look at that. That looks like a little spot for someone to stay. Who knows? There might be someone in there. You never know. There could be a pig in there. Let's see. Because that looks like it's pretty much built up. Like someone built that. Someone in there? Let's see. Kind of looks like there's pigs. Some pigs or animals live in there. See how the stump fell over and that other stuff was thrown on top? Someone in there? I don't see anybody in there. But anyways, That'd be a pretty good place to stay, though. Tell you that much. Yeah. So you can see where an animal lives in there. But I always like to just look at these trees and look at all the pieces and see what they could be, you know? And look at all this good kindling right here. Pretty fireplace, man. That's cool. And then you see the darndest things, like right here in the middle of nowhere, you got all that bamboo, which should not be here. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. But yeah, pretty cool. So this is the river. This is up north in Santa Clara County, the beginning of it. Anyways, and yeah. So we're just gonna take a little break. It's kind of hard to get away from the noise. The freeway's close by, but yeah. It looks like they've been cutting brush and just dropping it here. See some palm tree, some pine, some oak, 2 different kinds of oak, maybe even 3 different kinds. Oh, look at this thing right here. Now, if I could, I would take this one. I'd make this into something cool. Ooh. I see a face right there. It's almost petrified right there. That's darn near petrified. Look at it. Look at the face. Right here. Yep. That is cool. Yep. So, yeah. Just kind of over here by the river. Figured I'd take a second to go on a little walk with you guys. This is right up next to the river, so I think that there's going to be lots of have a good chance of finding arrowheads, petrified wood, dinosaur poop. A friend of mine, he's out here all the time, and he collects rocks, and he's got like petrified skulls and all kinds of crap, he says. I don't know the difference, but he does. Anyways, so I was just talking with a friend of mine. She's a Christian lady, and you know, she's kind of being picked on in a little bit, you know. She's an older black woman, and I worry about her, you know, because every time I run into her, she tells me a little bit more about what's going on, and And it scares me, because I think she feels like she's being picked on, and I don't know if she thinks she's being picked on because she's black or because she's Christian. I'm not 100% sure. But I think it's a little bit of both, and it probably is a little bit of both, I mean, because she's a sweet lady. I can't see. I mean, I can see how some people might, poke at her a little bit, I guess. But just because she's a sweet lady, and then maybe a little naive, but not so naive to where she doesn't recognize people talking about her, I mean, offending, she catches on to, people's little tricks and stuff, but, some of it might be because she kind of allows it a little bit, or she calls it on herself, a little bit, but either way, I love the lady. She's a great lady. She's cool. Lots of faith, and she just wants to serve God. And that's a great quality that she has. So every time we talk, we're always talking about God, the Bible, and yeah, she's cool. She's cool. I wish there was more I could do for her about, the things that she feels are happening to her, but I don't know all the facts, so I just don't get involved. There's only so much you can do for people, I mean, it's one thing to, when someone comes at you and they say, this is happening, and this is happening, it makes you pause a little bit, because at first you want to, completely take their side because you like the person, But then the other part is you don't know the circumstances behind everything, So but at the same time, I'm not going to, being a Christian isn't just, accepting everything everybody tells you and being nice, being nice. I mean, part of being a Christian is having discernment and being able to say, I don't see it that way, and telling your friend, like, hey, like, I think you're going about it the wrong way, or I think you're fighting a fight that you don't need to fight. That's God's fight, not your fight, And that's easier said than done. People are sensitive, and even the people that you don't think would be so sensitive are sensitive. Even the rough, tough, and violent people are really sensitive in ways, So you got to kind of be careful who you talk to, how you talk to people, because there are people who will strike you, who will not only be a little sensitive and but also harm you behind that, and it's like, how do you talk to someone without offending them, and that's the tricky part about being a Christian, and about, letting your brother know, hey dude, you're in the wrong, That's where discernment comes in, and you got to really make sure that, you're being led by the Holy Spirit, because the only person who can basically, rebuke is the Holy Spirit. And if it's not the Holy Spirit talking, that rebuke isn't going to be taken very well, Even if you're right, Sometimes, like I say, it's okay to be right, but you don't got to be right now, Sometimes you just got to know when and when not to pick that fight. But yeah, isn't it beautiful? So the military, they'll come walking through here sometimes. You go, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, they'll be stomping through here, the troops, and they'll be training and doing their thing, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to hear. But besides all that, so you do realize that you have the power. With God, anything is possible, right? I mean, let me just tell you how much power you have. Like, there's some things that I lived through that, I don't think a lot of people could live through. But there's some things that I've lived through that are hardly anything compared to what other people have gone through. But sometimes living through something and keeping your humanity, even though those things have happened to you, are two different things. It's real easy to live through something, but it's not so easy to live through something and still trust or have hope in humanity. It's oh, here we go. Yeah, so I, on the other hand, I guess in naivety, have had this blind faith in humanity. And, I've been taken advantage of, partly because I wanted to be I was a people pleaser for a long time. Part of my story is, when I was young, my dad would always, I'd always get in trouble, and I felt like I could never do things right. And that turned me into a people pleaser because I just wanted to make them happy, and then so that carried on to, other people too. I'll do anything just so that you're happy with me, because I want, all of us want someone to like us, and be happy with us and enjoy our company. So that turned mine, with the insecurity that I had, turned me into a people pleaser. Do things, that I didn't have to do for other people. And it took me a long time to realize, okay, where are my boundaries? Where do they lie? And the truth is, I'm learning is, it's okay to stand your ground. Christianity is not weak. Christianity is actually one of the hardest things to do, because we want to live according to biblical principles, right? And then also we want to, we live in the world where biblical principles are out the window half the time. And so how do you juggle that? Well, I don't know. I mean, excuse me, I've got a call. Hello, this is Ian. LifeShape Medical. I'm not worried about semaglutide and losing 1.5 pounds of body weight. Anyways, so you know, being a Christian is one of the hardest things I believe to do, and it takes a lot of strength. And it's not just physical strength. You know, it's one thing being strong. I played football, and they used to call me Marky Mark in high school. You know, I think I was up to 400 pounds bench press at one point. I still got the stretch marks to prove it. But all that didn't help me, you know, because I wasn't a fighter. I'm not a fighter. That doesn't mean I can't fight, you know, and plenty of people figured that out once they made me angry enough. But usually I'm the last person to go to blows with somebody, especially if it's over something stupid. It's got to be super important or challenge my, or, you know, they're talking down on my God, you know. And whenever someone talks about God, I feel like, I'm like, no, I'm standing up for my God, dude. You ain't gonna sit here and talk down on God in front of me. That's like the worst thing you can do. But then again, you know, that's kind of God's fight. You know, they can keep saying that stupid stuff, but I won't listen to it. I'll walk away. You know, but that's when you know, being a Christian, you know, comes into play. It's like, okay, what fights am I really gonna battle? And those are hard calls to make. Like, what is God's fight and what is my fight, and what part do I play in it? And you know, most of the time, a lot of the time, I just get it wrong. You know, people say, oh, well, you know, you handled that wrong, and, you know, you're not a Christian, or this and that, and it's like, okay, but do you even believe? Like, from what authority are you calling a spade a spade? You know? And what makes you the discerner of all Christians on the planet? Or, you know, believers in Christ, or whatever. You know, you gotta consider the source too. You know? I mean, I don't know why I'm talking about this right now. I just wanted to have a good walk, but that lady, she was saying some stuff, and I think it kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. Not rubbed off on me, but her energy was, you know, kind of, her energy was, what's the word I'm looking for? Was more aggressive. Defense on the defense. And I think I'm going on a defensive tangent. Yeah, Roy. Oh, look at that thing. It looks cool, dude. You got a spike on his head right there. Right there. Did you see that rock I had in my hand, by the way? It was pretty cool. Look, check it out. Is it just wet or is it black? Can't say. So yeah, we're just walking in the river right now. Not doing anything important. Just kind of being out here in the nature. And you know, I just wanted to take some time and, I don't know, let you guys get to know me a little bit more. I remember my mom, she loved being out in the elements, and she was more like a Native American than anything. My mom would be out there digging holes in the ground, burying their treasures in the backyard, you know, stocking up for the apocalypse and stuff. My mom was like, "Oh, look at what I found! Oh, wee, look at that! Look at what that! What? You think it works? Doesn't look like it, but I bet you I can make it work as long as it's not froze up." Let's see. Let's see. Oh, little backpack. Let's see. That don't look very good. Let's see. What's this? Here's the carburetor. The bubble's still good. Might be able to make that work still there. Hoo-wee! Yeah, that might be a runner. Let's see, where's the pull cord? Let's see. Got gas in there. What's this? That. Oh, here's the spark plug. While. It's got gas in it still. I think it's just been sitting here for a minute. I think it might run, dude. Look at it. If not, we sure can put it on a bicycle. Make it electric, motorized bicycle. That's for sure. I'll take it. We'll check it out. How about that? So, man, walking out here in this crap, my ankles, man. Did I tell you guys about how a couple of years ago I had both my Achilles tendons torn at the same time? Yeah. So I was staying at some dude's house, and he wanted me to move out, right? Although my girlfriend was still there, and it's like freezing. It started to be winter. It was all raining outside. He's like, "You gotta move out." I don't know more. I said, "All right, I get it." So, you know, at the time I was heavily on fentanyl, and my tendons were like really tight, and I had gone to the hospital, and they said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with you." And I'm thinking to myself, how can you tell me that there's nothing wrong with me, dude? Like, they did the blood test, they did all this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, here it comes. Here comes the doctor. He's gonna tell me, well, it could have something to do with the meth, or the fentanyl, or the marijuana, or whatever else you have in your system. But what did he say? He says, "There's nothing wrong with you." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "There's nothing wrong with you." I'm like, "Dude, I can't walk, bro. My tendons are so freaking tight. They feel like they're gonna snap." He's like, "Well, there's nothing wrong with you." 8 hours in the hospital, blood tests, all this crap. I'm like, "Okay, I guess there's nothing wrong with me." I'm like, "You're a retard, and you ain't telling me the truth." Anyways, so I say, so I'm like, "All right." So he sends me off. Well, the guy that I was staying with my girlfriend, she had a surgery, and she had to have a colostomy bag, and she couldn't live outside, you know, be outside. So he allowed her to stay. And well, I had to move out, so I was off, you know, setting up a tent, and I tried to move this thing out of my way, and it rolled back down towards me, and I tried to jump over it because it was going to smack me in the shins. And right when I tried to jump, when I landed, both my Achilles tendons tore. It was just like a bolt of lightning, like someone hit me with a steel stick right across both my calves. It was like the weirdest feeling, most pain I've ever felt in my life. And I dropped to my knees. I couldn't stand. And I literally had to crawl on my knees with my feet in the air to the street through the mud. And I'm on, and the cars are going by, and I'm like, hey, hey, no one's stopping. They're just like, and they don't, they don't see me at all. I'm like, dude, you guys are jacked. And so, anyways, my friend, he was just leaving me, and I yelled for him, and he came back, and I go, hey, dude, I don't know what happened. I just jacked up myself. Will you please go over to so and so's house right over there and get a cart so that you could pull me on it because I can't walk. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll go. So he goes, and he never comes back. I'm like, really, dude? Really? Anyways, I guess he thought I was faking it. And so, an hour goes by. I'm all muddy. I'm crawling on my knees, and I'm blocks and blocks away from my house. And so this other cat comes by, I knew, and I go, hey, dude, will you please, I don't know, will you please get my cart and push me back to my spot? He's like, yeah, but what's in it for me? And I literally had to pay the dude $50 to take me home that I didn't have. And that guy was a stickler, dude. He was on me about it. I'm like, all right. I was pissed about it, but I said, all right, fine. I guess more power to you. I mean, that's not what I would do for somebody, but you're not everybody else, so I'm not everybody else. And so I had to pay the guy, and he pushes me back to the place that I'm not supposed to be at, that I just was told to move out the day before. And so I get pushed to the door, and this guy literally pushes me into the freaking kitchen area, and I'm laying on this cart. I can't stand on my feet. And he's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. I messed up my feet. I was crying. I don't have anywhere to go, man. I really don't have anywhere to go. He's like, oh, and he was so frustrated. And he's like, fine, just go lay down in the living room. Go lay down in the room and you could stay until you're healed enough, right? So what happens? The reason that happened to me, I believe, was because the following night, him and I were the only ones there, and I'm hobbling on my crutches into the kitchen to get some water, and he comes walking from the living room there, and he's all dooba-dabba-dooba-dooba, talking weird, right? And I'm like, what? And he's like, Buddha-bada-buddha-ba. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, this guy's having a stroke. So I said, what'd you say? One more time, just to confirm. And he's like, who Buddha, Buddha? And I'm like, oh crap. So I hobbled my ass out the door to the neighbors, banging on the door. They're looking at me like I'm some weirdo. And I'm like, dude, my neighbor over here, your neighbor over here, so-and-so is having a stroke. He's having a heart attack. And I need you to call 911 right away. He's slurring his words and everything else. Just call 911. And they were a little hesitant. It took about 3 doors to get someone to call. And finally the ambulance comes and everything, and he's shipped off, and pretty much he had an aneurysm, an aneurysm or a whatever, and he was gone for like a month. And here I am. Now can't walk. My Achilles tendons are torn. I have no phone. He's in the hospital, and I'm staying in a house that I'm really not supposed to be at. But I had been staying there, so it's not like I was a stranger, but I had no way to, at the time I was a fentanyl addict. So I was detoxing and crapping myself, and I was like hobbling into the bathroom to shower, and I was just, it was just a nightmare, dude. It was a nightmare, and it was just a nightmare, dude. And my girl, she gets home, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, she's all, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I can't walk. Like, what do you expect me to do? And they just, everybody I guess they thought I was faking it. And so I didn't want to go to the hospital and leave this guy's house unattended because my girl was out of town with her family for Christmas. So I spent my Christmas detoxing with 2 torn Achilles tendons by myself in someone else's house. But hindsight being that the reason that happened was so that I could be there to basically save that guy's life. He was having a heart attack and he was gonna, he probably would have died had I not been there to help him. And see, God works in that weird way. You never know what the reason for something is. And I've learned not to blame God for the bad things that happen in my life, because somehow he always works it out for a good reason. There's a real reason why certain things happen to certain people. And that's why I say, they say, why do bad things happen to good people? And it's like, well, it depends on what you consider bad. It was bad that, I tore both my Achilles tendons and I couldn't walk, and I had to pay someone, to get me there. But it was a good thing that, I was available for that guy who was gonna die. My situation wasn't life-threatening. His was. And had that not happened, who knows what would have happened to that guy. And that's why I never blame God for the bad things that happen in my life, because I'm always looking for the blessing out of it. You never know what's going to happen. One time, I was in my work truck, my work van. It was after hours, after work. I took the van. I was in my flip-flops and my shorts by then, and I pull up to the gas station at the corner from my house just to gas up for the next morning, right? And what happens? So I get there and I'm parked by the gas pump, and people are standing there with their phones and they're recording. And I noticed that the sign on top of McDonald's is on fire, right? It's just dripping plastic and stuff. And everybody's just standing there. Well, I had a service van doing air conditioning, so I pulled my extension ladder off my truck, threw it up against the side of the building, grabbed my fire extinguisher, ran up there, start putting the fire out, and I only had a small container, but I got 90% of it out, and then the guys are coming out of the McDonald's and they're like, what? I'm all, get me a water tank. Get me your tank. So they get me it, and I finish putting it out. I drop it back down to them, and the fire's out, and I'm putting my ladder back on the truck, and they're like, and then the fire department shows up, right? I didn't ask for nothing. I wasn't trying to be on the news or anything. I just did my thing and I left. Well, I told my boss about it the next day, and he's like, and I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, cool, man, that was cool. Hell no, he didn't say that. He says, dude, don't ever do that again. And I'm like, what? I'm all, why, dude? And he's like, dude, we could have got sued. What would happen if that place had burned down to the ground and you were the last one out there, I'm like, oh, man. But he was right. He was right. We could have been held liable for that. Our hands were on it. We did something, and then what if it had gone bad? Gone south? That would have sucked, right? So, yeah. That's that. Hold on.